Hi, can you hear me? How's the sound quality? Okay. Well, as probably you have seen, I evaluated the first homework assignments, so you can take a look on the marks. I mean, those of you who submitted them. Okay, and I'm gonna share my screen so we could start working on stuff. Okay, so the screen is shared, so you might be able to see my screen. Okay, so so what I did, um, since we took a look a bit on like for while and do while, I placed the homework about the for loop. Surely next time I will place another assignment for you, but this time I will ask you to work on for loop tasks. And as a regulatory, since today they are being placed in the system, so you have 2 weeks starting from today to make them. Well, like in all other case, you know. All right. Well, I suppose this is clear, and maybe some of you already took a look on your marks. So this time we will try to maybe a bit fully overlook the possibilities of looping in an aspect of storing information. And we will start overlooking these things, starting with one-dimensional arrays. So we'll try to get how they work. We'll try to understand how we can use them and what is the beneficial part of using them. Okay, so we are starting with one-dimensional arrays. Um, well, here we have like all the time examples and descriptions. Literally, there are a lot of ways how to store information, and maybe the easiest of them would be to store information in arrays. Surely, we can have such things as records. We can have such things as files, even some another techniques to store information. But the most easier is an array. So an array could be only one-dimensional. When we will start to talk about two-dimensional arrays, we will get why every array is only one-dimensional. So, so the array. Well, you can imagine that the array is something like a set of data. Like you can imagine that as the line of data, where every element has its own index, literally the position number. Um, how is it possible to specify them? Well, we have to use the data type. Then we mention variables, variables name, and then in square brackets to mention amount of elements which we are creating within this array. So literally from how many elements the array consists of. For example, in day 7, which means that you have array day with 7 elements. So inside the day you have 7 elements, and each of them has the data type of integer. So literally you store 7 integers hidden under the name of day. Surely here it means the amount, but there a question about indexes, and indexation in C language starts from 0. So if we would be talking about indexing of these elements, it will be from 0 till 6. Sometimes people just say that the maximal index is the amount of elements minus 1. So, for example, if we have 10 elements, so the first one has index 0 and the last one has index 9. Well, I suppose this part could be clear for us. So how is it possible to use it? So let's suppose we would need to make the application that fills the area with number of days of the months and display them on screen. So, well, we have the regular part like libraries and use an STD. Well, it goes for cout and cin print and styles. Next we have the main function. We create days that has 12 elements. So, and by the number, which is written in square brackets, we get an access to the element. And we can get access for the element for both operations, for reading and writing. So if we like, we can read. If we like, we can write. Okay, so here, what do we have? Okay, so those months have been mentioned, and we have amount of days per the months. Well, for example, that way. And as you understand, here the index is represented as the number, right? So in this case, literally, we can iterate this number. For example, using the for loop or whatever kind of looping system. So we have a variable. Variable changes from 0 to 11, basically. So how do we get it to 11? So here we have just sign less than 12. So the latest index will be 11. Okay, and what we do next then? We make a comparison. If we have the first element, the second, and the third, and all the rest. Well, it's been done only to separate the sorting of which one is the second, which one is the first one, and the third one. And then it will be all the rest of them. Okay, so that's the idea. So what we'll get on the screen? On the screen we'll get exactly such picture. So we have information about the months by its number, and we have amount of days in such in such months. Well, that's one of simplest ways of using the arrays. Sometimes when we get the information about initial values of the array, and we would like to set up them kind of already knowing the values. So some separated assigning to a variable, well, is not really needed. So what do we do this case? So in this case, we just write array of known values we would like to place in the array in the order in which it will be placed in the array. For example, this will come for a 0 index, this will come from the index 1, the next come from for the index 2, next one comes for the index 3, and so on and so on. And here, besides the fact how we assign values, because we can do that differently, we still are able to use arrays for indexing. And we'll have the same results. So here we are. So guys, are we good so far? Is everything clear for you? Great. Great. So let's take a look on the next things. Okay, here we have a small example of why is it beneficial to store data in the array. So let's suppose we would need to store 10 values. We could use 10 variables for this purpose, or there is a more optimized way which we're using this time. It's already the one-dimensional array where index means the order of the element in the array. Okay, well, I suppose this one would be clear. Okay, here we have a small example, which literally you can analyze and you can find out why making the code more complicated is a bit more beneficial. So on the left side, we have application that has the looping system to write values into the array. Okay, and we can have the output. If we would try to make assign a value manually, so we'd have something like this. So we would have 10 variables, and we would need to enter all of them, and then we would be printing out maybe their summation if that's needed, or whatever could be done with them. But again, those are 10 different variables, so you will have to write them again and again. If you have an array, okay, you can just mention the index if that's needed. Okay, so here we have a bit another example, but again related to the array. What do we have here? Well, we have to write application basically gives the random number from 3 to 10 to array elements. Then print that's out, and then summation is printed out. Okay, well, how this is done? Again, quite simple. We have a sequence randomized function. We have variables. Well, actually, this code is a kind of normal one. Okay. Well, as you understand, guys, not only arrays can be used as arrays. There even such an interesting data type called character, um, which literally forms the symbol. But several symbols um, can make literally the text. And for working with such possibilities, well, there are some basic functionalities which can be used. Okay, maybe let's take a look on this example. So we have, okay, and this one was compiled in Borland um, compiler, so we wouldn't have this function and we wouldn't have this function. Literally here to get these codes, we have to maybe take a look on those basic functions? Well, for example, if you would like to copy the part of the text, you could definitely do that using a subvariable and maybe precise measurements. So usually you would need to, make concatenations of text. You can just use, for example, str cat, which means that second will be added to the first one because the first one contains the primary data. Okay, and what is interesting? The interesting stuff is that if your second parameter is the text, then this text will be still stored in the way it was stored previously. So only the first parameter text will be changed. So keep this in mind. Okay, well, I suppose this one might be bigger. So I assume I can try to give you some tasks because we have to kind of strengthen these ideas. Okay, so the first task. So write the program that creates a one-dimensional array with 10 elements, and element values are numbers between 1 and 5, which are entered by user. And there are three subpoints. So we have to calculate summation of array elements. Again, the same, which index are even numbers, and the same, which values are odd numbers. I suppose this task is pretty simple. So guys, please try to make the first solution. And once you will be ready, you can post these codes into chat, or you can just tell if you like that you finished. And once you will have some results, well, post them in the chat. Okay, maybe I will switch to tasks. So guys, are you in the progress? Are you in the process of making that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Take your time and please continue working on this. On my side, somehow internet disappeared on both phone and SIM card router. Somehow strange thing happened. But okay, so I'm again here. So let's see what we have. Okay, so I see a result from balance. Okay, so we have summation, even we have odd, sum. Okay. We have the array itself. That's great. Well, maybe I will just copy this code because it will be a bit easier. Okay, and I will restart my this Windows system. I will open this dev C++ and I will copy codes inside. So it will be much easier to take a look on those. Oh, yeah, and as far as I see, there's the code even from also this. So give me a second, I will take a look on those. So we're entering the numbers. Okay. Then we take a look on these numbers right during adding them, just during specifying them. Actually, okay. So here we have the index, and we divided this by 2. If there is no reminder, so it means it's an even number, like a 0, 2, 4, 6, and so on. Okay, there could be another case when the reminder is not equal. Oh, okay, here it's the index and here is the value. So here we take a value and again we use the division by 2, and if only the value is not divisible by 2 without reminder, which means that it's all value like 1, 3, 5, and so on. Then we summate them. Okay. And besides all of these facts related to index and value parameters, or okay, how we can name them? Okay, let it be parameters. So we're still making the summation of all values. Okay, and then the printout. All right. The only thing I will open those tasks again, so they would be available. Yeah. So the first check goes by the index, and the second check goes by the value. Okay. So there was code from Oswaldus. Okay. Great. The only thing. Okay. So the only thing that Oswaldus what did exactly? So, okay, summation happens. Okay, here we have the check if value is correctly set up. Okay, great. In previous code, it wasn't there. Okay, so we make a summation of all values. That's great. And here we have an understanding if value is even. But by the definition of the task, we had to use the index. If index is the even number, not the value itself. But on the other hand, it's good that we have this check if the value lies in the range between 1 and 5. Okay, Anyways, solutions looks great. Thank you, guys. Okay, I suppose that I can wait even solutions from others, but those who made, I mean, Benes and Oswaldus, so those who made the first task, well, you can try to make the second one. Okay, so the second one looks in a such way. So write a program that creates an array A with such values, an array B with such values. And you fill the third array named C with value summation from A and B arrays. So literally corresponding index element summation like 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 5, then 4 and 6, then 5 and 7. Well, I suppose idea is clear. So again, those who finished the first task, please make the second one. And those who didn't finish the first one yet, then please finalize the first task and then please try to make the second one. Guys, do I understand correctly that Faustinus, Laurinus, and Nikita, you are still working on the first task? Is it so? Okay, so okay, makes sense. Okay, so guys, well, you could at least write that you finished the first one. Okay, so just keep working, and once you have results, you can post me the code in the chat so I can take a look, maybe some comments. Well, maybe I will just say that you made code in the awesome way, maybe everything will be fine, or you can just write that you finished that one. Okay, so I'm switching back to the task definition, and here you have it. All right, so I have the code from Mozilbus. Okay, let me take a look on it. Okay, so we have 5 elements in the arrays, and we make a summation, and we make a printout. Well, yes, looks great, and I suppose everything should happen here without any problems. Yes, that's awesome. Thank you, Oswaldus. Okay, so Oswaldus, since you made that, then you can try to make the pre-last one, so the task number 3, which is pretty simple actually. Okay, so I see that Laurinus and Benes made the second one. Great, thanks for informing me. So you as well can try to make the third one. So again, story is simple. You just have the array. You fill that with randomized values, with two variations, 0 and 1, and then you swap them. So you have to print the initial array and the array after value swapping. Okay, what was the swap? So if value is 1, it becomes 0. In the same time, if value was 0, then it becomes 1. That's the idea of this value swapping. Okay. Oh, and again, it shows something with the connection. Okay, I really hope it will not be lost. So okay, maybe I have to switch off probably the camera, because somehow we have to work with this low connection. Okay, so I will take this code which Oswald sent me, and I will take a look what we have here. Okay, we have array, we have it randomized. With the randomized value, we print out the original value. We go to the array. If element is 0, then it becomes 1. In the opposite case, it becomes 0. Well, yes. And then what we do, we print out swapped array. Okay, let's see how that works, but the code is correct. So we have original array, we have swapped array. Well, yes, things are fine here. Okay, thank you, Oswaldus. So since you okay, and we have the code from Banas. Okay. So Oswaldus, you can make the last task solution. So please start working on that. And while you're doing that, I will take a look what did I receive from Banas. Okay, at 20 elements. Okay, randomizer is being started. Okay, randomized value, swapping. Um, oh, array A, and then changed array. But will they be differently printed out? I suppose not really, because they just swapped. So I think that here we'll be taking out handle, because it means that after each printout we are given a free space. I suppose we can do the following. So after each of the full array printouts, we would put the enter sign. Yeah, and as you can see, you print the same, because you know you made the array A, then you change that, and only then you printed that twice. So I suppose that you, for example, could create the second array, maybe array B, and you would probably write your changed values into array B, and then you would print out the array B. It's just one of versions how it could happen. Okay, and now if we would run this, we would see that we would have opposite values printed out. So we would have initial state of the array and after changes. Okay, anyways, Benes, you can start working on the last task. So it's task number 4. Okay, so Lavrinus made us the third one. Great. So thank you. So you can work on the last task then, which is quite simple, but you have to only organize that in the correct way. Don't forget that randomizer gives you values as well. If you applying division reminder, then you get the values between a zero and the value which you are dividing with. For example, if you dividing with, if you have rand, then percentage sign, then 20, so you will receive value from 0 to 19. So keep this in mind, please. Okay, so I got the code from Oswaldus. Okay, let me take a look what we have here. The smallest is 101. Okay, enter the size of the array. Okay, great. Then we are starting the sequence of randomized values. Great. Then we got here from 0 to 99 plus 1, so it becomes from 1 to 100. So we are printing out that value, and if the value is less than the smallest, then we found out the new smallest and we got the index. And then we have the printout. Okay, looks great. The only thing I will take a look how it works. Okay, let's say we have 30 elements. Okay, so that's supposed to do. Okay, so we have it. And no, so the first index of that is 5. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So you made that. Okay, so oh, Oswald is already disconnected. Okay, okay. Oh, okay, Oswald, this looks like you have some interruption on the network. So you're kind of reconnecting right now. Okay, so I suppose you heard that your code is correct, and looks like everything works well. So at this point, since we still have a time, and for sure it's not really beneficial to open another theory materials. So maybe you can just try to take a look onto the dimensional array materials. Um, while your colleagues are working on task solutions. Or if you like, you can be just free if or so it's up to you. Oh, okay. Also, this disappeared. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so I see that Ben has made the last one. Okay, great. So the same as I advised to those holders, you can take a look on during this last minutes on the next material, or you can be just free. That's really up to you. Anyways, we're finishing in a few minutes, so yeah. Okay, Benes, have a nice evening. Bye bye. Okay, so looks like we have here only Faustinus, Laurinus, and Nikita. Okay, so somehow I didn't see any record in the chat from the Nikita about if the second task was done and if Nikita is working on the third and fourth tasks. So maybe you can write something. Maybe you stuck at some point, and if it's so, I would really like to describe you something that will make you a step forward in it. So Nikita, which task are you working now on? Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Okay, we still have some 5 minutes. I suppose you can at least try to make the last solution. It's not complicated, but it takes a bit of time. Okay, and I'm switching to tasks. Okay, so Faustin is made. If I'm not mistaken, the last one then. Okay, then you can be free if that's the last one. Okay, and loading is finished. Okay, that's great. That's great. Fastinas, bye bye. Okay, then Laurinus, then you can um then you can disconnect as well if you like, or if you like, you can just take a look on the next materials. But we have a few minutes only. I don't really think it will be practical. Yeah, so see you next week. Have a nice evening. Nikita, so what is your progress? Like we have few minutes more, so maybe some questions. Okay, you're working on the fourth one. Okay, so let's do like this. Since we have few minutes left, then maybe you can describe how you will make it. If you like, you can switch on microphone and just describe me. Um, at least we can figure out if the way will be correct, at least in such option. Or if you like, you can type. It's up to you. Okay, you didn't get the third task. Oh, okay. So listen. You make the array, right? And by the randomizer, you're assigning zeros or ones to values, right? And then you go through the array and you change the values. So where you had zero, it becomes one, and where you had one, it becomes zero. And then you print out the new version of the array you have after these changes. That's the full story about this task. Okay, you use little information about also this. Um, Okay, well. Anyways, that's good that your friends, your classmates, they're not afraid of posting the codes. So you and others, you can just take a small look on those codes, and you can find out maybe some ideas which were not quite obvious for you. Writing the solution, making the solution. So 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 this way is really good, I suppose. Okay. Okay, so it's already 8 o'clock, and and we are not in the process of making something. So, um, do you have any questions so far? If you can ask. So don't be shy. Okay, looks like no questions. Okay, then thanks for being connected. I really appreciate that. And see you next time. So next time we have pretty interesting task related to the two-dimensional array. And it might happen we will be making that together. Let's see. Let's see. So I included a task which students really like. So next time I suppose it will be interesting, at least a bit more interesting than maybe today. Okay, so have a nice evening and see you next time. Bye bye.